Alright, greetings. This is Gundus. I'm going to be reading Genesis 3. I'm going to add some notes and I see if I can get through this in a timely manner. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh, that's Genesis 1. Okay, this is Genesis 3. I'm going to be reading from the Brenton Sep. I'm also going to take some notes while I'm doing it, and I will share the notes with you. And I'm done. Alright. Brenton Sep. Translation. The Serpent's Deception. Now the serpent was the most crafty of all brutes on the earth which the Lord God made. And the serpent said to woman, Wherefore has God said, Eat not of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree let me read this back through verse 1. Now the serpent was the most crafty of all the brutes on the earth which the Lord God made. And the serpent said to the woman, Wherefore has God said, Eat not of every tree of the garden? Verse 2. And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. Verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Verse 4. And the serpent said to the woman, Ye shall surely not die. Ye shall not surely die. 5. Verse 5. For God knew that whatever day ye should eat of it, your eyes would be opened, and ye would be as gods, knowing good and evil. Verse 6. And the woman saw the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes to look upon, and beautiful to contemplate. And having taken of its fruit, she ate, and she gave to her husband with her also. And they ate, and the eyes of both were opened, and they perceived that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and they made aprons to go around them. And God, no, I'm putting in words where it shouldn't be. God arranges Adam and Eve. Verse 8. And they heard the voice of the Lord walking in the garden in the afternoon, and both Adam and his wife hid themselves from the face of God in the midst of the trees of the garden. Verse 9. And the Lord God called Adam and said to him, Adam, where art thou? Verse 10. And Adam said to him, I heard thy voice as thou walkest in the garden, and I feared because I was naked and hid myself. And God said to him, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Unless thou hast eaten of the tree concerning which I charge thee of it alone not to eat. Verse 12. And Adam said, The woman whom you gave to me to be with me. Wait, no, I read that wrong. Verse 12. And Adam said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. Verse 13. And the Lord God said to the woman, Why hast thou done this? And the woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. Verse 14. And the Lord God said to the serpent, Because thou hast done this art above all the cattle and all the brutes on the earth, thy beasts and belly thou shalt go, and thou shalt eat the earth all the days of my life, all the days of thy life. Well, let's look up what's a serpent. What's serpent? Change that. Okay, we got a serpent. Let's look up serpent. Okay, serpent looks like a snake. It also looks like a snake. I'll give you a. I'm gonna spell it out for you. Worms. So really, was it really a snake that tricked Eve, or was it a worm who crawls upon the earth and eats the dust of the ground? You know, it's like an insult to call someone a worm. It would be an insult to transform someone into a worm. I think this is the serpent they're talking about. Sort of like the worm in the strain. Sorry, strain TV show. Oh, there it was. You see the strain? They're talking about this evil worm that takes people over and forces them to do stuff, and then they have like a giant worm come out their mouth. I know I'm stretching it a bit, but I think the serpent they were referring to is an actual worm. God said, you know what? For doing this serpent, I'm gonna condemn you to eat dust forever. All right. All right. Verse 13. And Lord God said to the woman, why hast thou done this? And the woman said, the serpent deceived me, and I ate. Verse 14. And God said to the serpent, because thou hast done this, art cursed. Thou, because thou hast done this, art cursed above all cattle and brutes of the earth. On thy beast and belly thou shalt go, and thou shalt eat earth all the days of thy life. Verse 15. And God put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. He shall watch against thy head, and you shall watch against his heel. Now, there's an old story about a dragon in the sky chasing the woman and her child. I think that's the same serpent, but I'm not sure. I'm not to that point in the Bible yet. Now, as great a story as this is, like all stories that are built on a little bit of truth, they give you events, not chronological events or logical events. They just give you the events of what happened in their bare bones. They don't really give you the details of what happened. So I think that's why the Bible is so confusing to a lot of people. So in general, there was this being, it is a serpent, or was a serpent, or looked like some sort of serpent, and it messed up God's plans. So God punished it to go crawl around on the earth. The punishment of mankind. And God said to the woman, I will greatly multiply thy pains and thy groanings. In pain thou shalt bring forth children, and thy submission shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Now, I don't think that this verse was written right. I don't think that this verse clearly reflects what happens. I think that most of the time when they're talking about God in the Bible, in general, or specifically, when he's dishing out punishment, I think he's just telling the people, look, this is the consequence of your actions. You join with these Egyptians or Assyrians, my power can't protect you no more. You're drawing on the Assyrians' power. You're drawing on the Assyrians for protection. You asked me to leave. I can't be where the Assyrians are. So God says, hey, you go and join with these Assyrians. Once my power of protection for you leaves you, you're no longer under my grace period. What the Assyrians are going to do, they're going to enslave you and slaughter you. Rome is going to enslave you and slaughter you if you join with them. Don't join with any of these evil peoples. And I think that's what God's saying, but I think it's rewritten so that God seems like, oh, I'm going to punish you. No, I think God's just telling them the consequences of what their actions will yield. Alright, I'm going to get back to reading. Verse 17, and Adam said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife. No, I got to read that again. Verse 17, and to Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife. What does hearken mean? Okay, it means you listen to. Uh, Hearken, Old English, to give. Late Old English. He or an Ian. He or an Ian. He or an Ian. To give ear, to listen. To hear with attention. Suffix of he or Sian. Root of hark. From Proto Germanic hajusan, to hear. Hearken is the usual spelling in US and probably better justified by etymology. OED says preference for hearken in British is likely from the influence of hear. Okay, so the word means to listen. Alright, so because Adam listened to his wife, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and eaten of the tree concerning which I charge thee of it, only not to eat, and thou hast eaten it, cursed is the ground in thy labors, in pain thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. In pain shall thou eat of it all the days of thy life. So I think the consequence for Adam is that, well, since you're come of age of majority, since you know good and evil, you gotta do all the stuff on your own. I can't grow the vegetables, fruits, and trees for you anymore. Now you have to grow your own food, which is going to be hard labor. All right, verse 18. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat thy bread until thou return to the earth out of which thou wast taken. For the earth thou art to the earth. For earth thou art, and to earth thou shalt return. So what does this art mean? I know it's supposed to be Old English. Art. Okay, meaning in the Bible. Let me try in Shakespeare. Oh, so art. We know thou means you to be the subject of the sentences. Alright, so this is Shakespearean English. Another problem with the Bible. Everyone just reads it and thinks that the words mean the same thing. So if I'm reading art all the time, is God saying, "Hey, Adam, you gotta make a painting here"? That doesn't make sense. This is an Old English. It's a different word, has a different meaning. Thee, thou, and thine. Let me just skip on down to the word art. Art. Where are you? Art. Article. Art. 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 Art is a form. All right. So this is oh Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Art is a form of the word be, and wherefore means what is the purpose? What is the purpose be, Romeo? Oh, alright, so that means be. Alright, so for the earth, for the earth thou art, or from. So you're from. So he's God saying, Adam, you're from the earth, and so Adam, you, thou means you, from the earth, and you shall return to the earth. And Adam called the name of his wife Life. Oh, so that's what Eve means, life, because she was the mother of all living. The expulsion from paradise. God made, and God made for Adam and his wife garments of skin and clothed them. And God said, Behold, Adam is one of us, to know good and evil. And now least at any time he stretch forth his hand, and take of the tree of life and eat, and so shall he live forever. So God sent him forth out of the garden, out. Verse 23. So the Lord God sent him forth out of the garden of delight to cultivate the ground, out of which he was taken. Wait. So Adam went back to the area where he was created from, in general. And he cast out Adam and caused him to dwell over against the garden of delight, and stationed cherubs with fiery swords that turns about to keep the way of the tree of life. Alright, I'm gonna read that again. And God cast out Adam and caused him to dwell over and against the garden of delight, and stationed the cherubs and the fiery swords that turns about to keep the way of the tree of life. Alright. So basically, I think Adam had some sort of quasi immortality, but he could still die. So God said, Alright, if Adam gets back into the garden and eats this fruit of life, he will have immortality. So I'm going to send him out of the garden to the same land that I made him from. So he'll live on the dirt that he was made from. Alright. What comes next in the Brenton Sep again? Because I prefer to read the Bible in parallel chapters, but I can't find that link anymore. I really would like to just read it in parallel chapters, but when I click on parallel chapters, I get this. You know, I read parallel chapters. Parallel Bible. Okay. Google, my computer is being helpful. Alright, parallel Bible. Let's see, not Matthew. I don't want Matthew. So how do I choose chapter? Can I choose a book? No, let me choose a book first. Oh, okay, here it is. Genesis. Alright. Alright, it's only 18 minutes in. Alright, let me just test out a little bit of Genesis 4. Alright, so you got Cain and Abel. Brenton Sep translation. Cain and Abel, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and brought forth Cain and said, I have gained a man through God. So Cain is the firstborn. And she bore his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Verse 3. And it was sometime that, and so, verse 3, and it was so after some time that Cain brought the fruits of the earth to sacrifice to the Lord. Verse 4. And Abel also brought of the firstborn of his sheep and of his fatlings. And God looked upon Abel and his gifts, but Cain and his sacrifices he regarded not. And Cain was exceedingly sorrowful, and his countenance fell. Verse 6. And the Lord God said to Cain, Why art thou become very sorrowful? And why hast thou fallen? Verse 7. Hast thou not sinned if thou hast thought it rightly, but not rightly divided it? Hast thou not sinned if thou hast brought it rightly, but not rightly divided it? But be still, to thee shall be in his submission, and thou shalt rule over it. Alright, let me read the other verse first. Something's not clicking today. Now, this is NSAB, KJV. Alright, I'm just saying letters. I know the KJV is the King James version. Alright, so let me see. Now, man had relations with his wife Adam. Oh, so that's what knew mean. He knew Eve. So he had children with Eve. And she conceived and gave birth to Cain. She said, I have gotten a man child with the help of the Lord. Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. So fewer letters, but same text. Adam made love to his wife. Oh, so that's what new means. And she became pregnant and she gave birth to Cain. She said, I have gotten the man that the Lord promised. I have gotten the man that the Lord promised. Alright, so which is it? I've gotten a man child with the help of the Lord. I've gotten a man from the Lord. Alright, or the Lord promised Eve a child, which is interesting. The man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain and said, I have gotten a man with Yahweh's help. And a man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bore Cain and said, I have acquired a man with Jehovah. So, I think that one of these two translators just can't read. It's like, how can one guy translate the same word and get Yahweh, and another guy translate the word and get Jehovah? It's like, one says Yahweh, one says Jehovah. Alright, I'm going to end it there. Probably going to come back and learn how to use this parallel Bible a lot better. I'm going to sign out. Alright, see you guys later.